Everybody, it's Leumasmyth again, and I'm happy to see you all on this episode of Creative Mavens Talkshop. So we are hosting another legend. I think he's here already. Work is good. Yeah, he's here. All right,
How
good.
you doing?
You're welcome, sir. I'm fine. Ah, that's better. Fantastic. That's fantastic. The first thing is introduction right now. I am Lima Smith. I am a music producer and music artist. I'm a musician. Anything related to music, I love it. I'm always there, and that's why we are here actually.
Nice.
And today we have another legend with us. Can you just introduce yourself to the world again, sir?
Yeah, my name's Justin Brand. I'm a music producer. I'm a recording engineer. I'm a mastering engineer. I'm a content creator. I'm a marketing person. I'm an accountant. I'm an admin assistant. I'm a cleaner.
Okay.
I am everything.
Wow, that's fantastic. You're from the legend. That's
Yeah.
the legend you move. You know, legends have different things,
Yeah, I
and
got to
that's
do
why you are
everything.
called a legend. He's a legend actually, and he's going to put you through how the music industry works. As you can see on his page, you can see he's a mixing engineer and he's an expert. He will actually guide you through, and that's why you're here. So without further ado, let's just go straight into the first thing we are discussing today, and that is number one: how do you achieve perfect balance between loudness and dynamics in the mix? Can I repeat that again? How do
How
you
do
achieve the perfect balance between loudness and dynamics in the mix?
I would probably say it's a combination of the plugins that I use.
Mm.
Um, Many years of playing with different plugins, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and finding ones where I can really push the mixed volume, but without absolutely crushing it.
Mm.
And I think just a good mix, like if you can balance the instruments, if you can make sure that each element of your mix is clean, um, then that's going to help you get that loudness. And then I think finally just finding really good plugins that work for you that that just do a good job, I think. It
Wow,
certainly worked for me.
wow, wow, that's amazing. And that's why we have Justin Brad. Yeah, he's a legend. So definitely what matters most is the understanding balancing, I think. Because do you think we should just put plugins and vocals or something just to increase the volume or let's say mastering or something like that? Or we have to be specific and understand balancing first before going to get plugins.
Yeah, okay. I suppose to elaborate a bit more, it's like if you've got the more you've got in a mix, like let's say for example guitars. I mean, I do a lot of rock music. I'd probably say that's kind of my go-to. Now, if you've got a guitar which is a little bit honky and it's producing a little bit too much kind of bass frequencies,
Mm.
and then you're layering up 8 of those guitars, and each one is, you know, each time it's going to introduce a little bit more of this honk,
Mm.
and all of those unwanted frequencies are what are going to start to affect your entire mix as you go
Mm.
through. So it's very important to make sure that you've got a nice clean signal, you've got clean bus groups. So I will usually EQ my guitars, like each one of them, and then I will EQ the overall guitar bus. And
Mm.
what I'm then left with before I go to the mastering stage is something which is as clean as I can get it. And then the mastering stage for me is usually it's usually not a lot of work. If you've got a good mix, the mastering side of things shouldn't be a lot of work because that's where the mix comes in. There was a really interesting saying which I heard, which kind of changed everything for me, and it's something which I've repeated a few times. It's record like there is no mixing and mix like there is no mastering. And if you
Mm.
get those bits, If you get those bits, if you get those bits right, by the time you get to the mastering stage, a lot of the hard work should be done, and you're not taking up any unnecessary headroom with frequencies that shouldn't be there, and it just enables you to, push the mix a little bit hotter and a
Wow.
little bit harder and get that extra volume.
Wow. 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 That is so fantastic. And that's why we have the legend here. So obviously, if the recording is not balanced, then it will affect the mix in one way or the other, then the mastering. But
Yeah,
if you put more effort in recording good vocals, your vocal takes, everything is balanced, you have more tendency of, doing everything fast and easier when doing the mixing and obviously in the mastering too. So that's actually fantastic. And that's why we have the legend here. I'm
yeah.
so excited to have you. Yeah, the second
There's
question right now is
there's
okay.
another one. Sorry, there's another one that I'll give you quickly, and that is that everything starts at the beginning.
Mm,
If you want a good mix at the end, you need to get everything clean at the start, or as clean as you can.
mm,
Um, a, a big part of mixing, which I've found when I'm doing other people's work that they've recorded, the first step for me is unwinding what really shouldn't be there to get it to a point where I can start to go forward. Now, if you can obviously have that at the start and have everything clean, and it's just going to make everything so much easier
oh my god.
further on.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That was so fantastic. That was like this is a cheat code. This is a cheat code. So if you're an upcoming music producer or mix engineer, you've learned a lot from this particular aspect already. And that's actually cool.
Everything for me, I mean, everything that, I'm completely self-taught. So these are
Oh
just
my god.
mistakes that
So
I've made along the way that
oh my
somebody should
god.
have told me a long time ago.
Damn, damn, that's that's actually fantastic. That's amazing. So if you have any questions, keep dropping them in the comment section. We will attend to them. So we have just few here, and after that we attend to the questions in the comment section. So the next question here, yeah, what are your go-to plugin or piece of hardware for achieving professional results? Those cheat codes.
My go-to plugins.
Yeah,
Um, there's so many of them. I've actually got
of
I've got a
course, you're
session
legion.
open here, so I can see what I'm using. Wow, what pops up a lot? Vocals Melodyne. Big fan of Melodyne.
Wow.
I'm a big user of Softube plugins. Actually, they've been my
Up to you?
my go-to for a long time.
Wow.
Um, the Softube bus processor. That's one for people to check out. That's a plugin that doesn't get anywhere near enough recognition. It's like an SSL bus compressor, but it's a bus
Definitely.
processor because you can do a lot more with it.
Definitely.
Um, uh, Soothe 2 on nearly everything.
Soon. I know that's gonna come up.
Yeah, it's always going to come up. What I have been enjoying recently is a plugin called Alkane by California Dynamic.
Wow.
That's a fairly new one. That's incredible.
Wow.
That's going to do some big things. Um, but it's not so much the plugins that you use; it's how you use them. And also, what I will say with the more premium plugins, you know,
Mm,
all they're actually doing is speeding up the process. Like
mm,
if you took away all my plugins and just left me with the stock ones, I'd probably get the same result, but I think it would just take me a little bit longer.
definitely.
I think that's
Good.
all they're really doing, just speeding things up a bit.
Oh wow. Oh wow. So we are working with time and at the same time quality without having to stress the PC, the RAM, a lot of that.
Yeah,
So it's
and
not that you
time
jump like 20
time
in
is the
your
time is the big thing. When you're doing what I do out here, time is the biggest thing. You need to turn around things as quickly as you can. You need to be able to work as quickly as you can. So yeah, you need things that can keep you going and speed you along the process.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. That's actually fantastic. And I think someone has learned something from that. If you're learning, drop
Hopefully.
it in the comment section. Just tell me I'm learning. I know someone have
Yeah.
actually learned something from that. So and the next question right away is how do you handle revisions when a client isn't satisfied with the mix? You know, sometimes you are okay with the mix, and you know the client say, "Oh, the reverb is too much," the tuning, you know, a lot of them, you know, all of those things. How do
Yeah.
you approach that?
Well, I mean, this isn't going to be the same answer that you will hear from a lot of people, but
Mm,
in my opinion, it's not my job to tell the client how their music should sound. This is a big thing that I've always had.
mm.
Ultimately, I need the person who I'm doing the mix for to come to me and say, "Yep, I love it. It's done."
Wow.
And until I get to that point, I just believe that I carry on working. You know, I mean, um, I I suppose I've been fortunate. I've not really faced many problems over my time with people. You know, I've certainly not had any arguments. My goal is always to have a client that loves what I've done for them. And if
Oh
that means
yeah.
that they come back to me and they want me to change a couple of bits,
That's
because
good.
that's, you know, if I wrote a song and in my head it sounds a certain way, you know, that's how I want it to be. I don't want to settle or compromise too
Mm.
much. I have this vision of it. So that's kind of how I work. I'm very respectful of how people want their music to sound, and you know, if they've got revisions for me, then so be it. I'll tweak it
Oh
until it's
wow.
done.
Oh wow. So it's just to understand the artist perspective and at the same time, you know, work professionally to blend it up. Because some artists sometimes what they actually lodge, they complain the lodge are not actually professionally, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
it
in most cases.
depends what it
Imagine
depends what
artists
the
telling you to put reverb on the kick.
yeah. I've had that. I've had that. I've had some great ones. You know, I've had some where you're just like, are you sure? But that's what they want.
I mean, call it
It's their song.
credibility. Is that still credibility or crazy?
Yeah. It's their music at the end of the day, so I'll do what I
Well,
have to.
oh wow, oh wow, that's actually fantastic, and I think we have the legend here, and I'm actually enjoying this. If you're enjoying the talk shop, just drop it in the comment section. Let us know so we can just keep going further. And the next question right here is, what's the most common mistake you see in raw tracks sent to you for mixing? You know, as a mixing engineer, I know you would have gotten some projects. I'd be like, oh my god, what's this?
None,
So what are those things? So they don't come up with
none.
such again.
Yeah, no, none. Everything that I get sent is perfect. There's never any issues with it.
Oh wow.
No, there's loads. I tell you what. Here, here's one that I never understand, right? And
Mm,
and this has happened so many times, and I've joked about it. I've made reels about it. Is when somebody one night records some vocals for their song. You know,
mm.
that's half of verse one done, brilliant. And then the following night they come home and they'll do the second half of verse one, but they're going to set their microphone up in a completely different room in the house, and they're going to do that. And it is something which happens a lot where there will be vocals will be recorded over a period of time, which is absolutely fine. You know, there's no issue with that. But each time that record has been pressed, there's a different gain level on the interface. The microphone's in a different position. And they're big no-nos as far as I'm concerned. Like in my studio, I have a vocal booth with a microphone, and that volume has not been changed on that microphone for I don't know how many years.
Wow.
Um, which means that if somebody, let's say somebody, well, in fact, actually, I've got somebody coming back to re-record some vocals for a song which they did last year with me. And when they come, it's going to line up perfectly because nothing's changed.
Mm.
Maybe the height, a little bit of height adjustment, but so long as they're roughly in the same position, it'll be it. So that's a big one. If you're going to record vocals, please keep the microphone in the same position and the same volume until you've got all of the vocals done, and it'll
Oh,
just make the mixing engineer's job so much easier.
wow. Wow. I think everybody heard that right now. So just don't just record your vocals anyhow. You learn the secret from the legend right now, and don't repeat your past mistakes again. I think we are good about that. And the next question right here is, how do you stay up to date with evolving audio engineering trends? You know, everything changes. Back then, they were using hardware, they were using some stuff to twinkle some things. Do you think? How do you like jump on trends? How do you, you know?
I don't think I do,
Wow.
if I'm honest. I I think, I mean, I'm very fortunate. I get sent a lot of plugins to check out. Some of
Hmm.
them I love. Some of them I maybe look at and then never touch again.
Wow.
And that's not to say anything about the plugin. It's more about how am I going to use it. I
Personally.
use plugins in I use plugins in ways that I probably shouldn't be using them, but they work for me on what I'm doing. So I I think I don't know. I mean, I've always kind of had this thing where it's like, what are we trying to achieve with modern music? Like, if I listen to music, when I listen to music that I
Hmm.
love listening to. I like modern music, but I listen to a lot of old music,
Hmm.
and you can go back to the 1950s and hear something that's been. There's one particular song. I can't remember what it is, but it's been recorded in mono, and the desk has been run too hot, so it's clipping and distorting, and it sounds amazing. So,
Wow.
so it's like, it's like, what are we trying to do with music? Is the goal with music nowadays just to push it and get things as loud as
Definitely.
possible? So I don't know. I'm always trying to learn more. I'm a big I'm a I mean, first of all, I'm very rarely happy with anything that I do. Like,
Hmm.
I always want to be better. Um, but that's more me than anything
Hmm.
else. Like I said earlier on, so long as I have people who are happy, then I'm doing a good job. But for me, I just always want to get better.
Definitely.
So I wouldn't say that I hop on modern day trends so much as just always try to learn more and do things better and quicker.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. That's a legendary move. Yeah, I think. So yeah, no, no. Okay, let's take it back for um mixing engineers or music producers that are just coming up. You know, if they're coming up, they say, according to some people, they will tell you to copy or to look at. There are some basic knowledge actually. You know when to put the reverb, know the type of things to do. So, what is your best advice for a mixing engineer that is just starting off? Should they just, we have a lot of preset right now. So they just put the preset and not care about twinkling it or adding their own stuff? Should they just do anyhow? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about presets first of all.
Yeah.
A preset only sounds the same if you're using the exact same equipment, microphone, gain setting as the person that created that preset.
Wow.
Because if you're not, it's not going to sound the same. Let's say you've got a kick drum preset, but you're putting that kick drum preset on a completely different kick to what it's been created with. It's going to sound
Mhm.
completely different, and it's not going to sound the same, and it's probably not going to sound as
Absolutely.
good. What I think presets, because I have to, I started with presets. I think what you have to learn about presets is what are they? What are they doing? And how can I tailor that and tinker that to
Hmm.
myself and what it is that I'm trying to do. Um, with what I would recommend is for people to get their heads round buses and auxiliary channels.
Hmm.
Like, I will probably never ever put a reverb on an instrument. I prefer to send things and
Definitely.
control overall levels by
Yeah.
blending it in, as opposed to, I mean, that's just the way that I work. Um, but I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with presets, but you need to understand what that preset is,
Wow.
why it is, and then from there, you know, turn it and tailor it. Start creating your own presets based on
Hmm.
your room. That's
Wow.
what I've done. I have when I have things which I do in here with like guitars and stuff. I have guitar amps saved. I have speaker settings saved because they're kind of my go-tos. And if I'm going to dial stuff in, I'm probably going to end up dialing it in how I've already got it. So I might as well just use a preset. So they are a good thing, but you need to understand them rather than just slapping anything on and
Oh wow. Oh
trashing
wow. Oh
trashing
wow.
something. And also, sorry, one last
Okay.
thing. Also, what you're probably going to then end up doing is doing so much to it that now you need to unravel everything. You're almost like
Hmm.
you're causing more work.
Yeah, wow,
So
wow, wow, wow. There are sometimes you just lose a preset and doesn't really feel balanced, and you start twinkling, and before you know it, you've changed everything. And it will
yeah,
sound good, it will sound better. That's actually fantastic. So for upcoming producer, I think from your point right now, you're advising them not to rely on the preset. So it should just be like a guide for them to, you know what you want to hear is in your head, it's a creative word. So it's just like a guide for you to paint out your own sound.
yeah.
I think.
I,
Is that
I
what you
think
mean?
it just opens up a lot of questions. I think with anything that you do, and particularly with music production, and particularly with how my brain works, is I
Mm.
want to know why something is doing what it is. So, like, when people might pull a car apart because they want to know how a car engine works. I like
Mm.
I like to kind of do that with music production, which is I like to see what everything is doing and really get my head around what that one thing is doing. Because if you know EQ and you know how EQ sounds, and if you know how compression works and how compression sounds, I mean, two things there: EQ and compression. I remember a guy years ago said to me that music production is just about EQ and compression. And if you can get your head around those two things, then you're going to be all right.
Wow.
It's like, but it is, you know, using EQ and compression incorrectly, you're going to have problems and that's going to get you through most of it. And also space. My recommendation for everybody is learn about space, learn about panning, learn about placing things in the mix. And because if you just put it all down the middle,
Mm.
then
Wow.
that's how you get good balanced mixes.
That's another tip. That's
It's
another
good
tip from
fun.
the Legion. And I think, you've learned a lot from this, and you should be dropping some questions. I'm actually seeing some comments. If you have some questions, just drop them down in the comment section. Then we are going to attend to them. And the last question on the list before I go to the questions that have been asked before is, yeah, we are talking about tuning plugins like Autotune, Melodyne, and all of that, we know how it really works. So the question is, how have vocal tuning plugins such as Autotune and Melodyne reshaped the mixing and mastering process? And what do you think their influence has been on the creativity and vocal authenticity of today's generation of artists? You
Well,
know,
yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, certainly, I think a lot more freedom. I mean, I remember seeing an interview with Will.i.am years ago when he openly admitted that he can't sing. Um, but he has so many ideas, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. Obviously, he
yeah,
can sing, but
of
like
course, of course.
he can't sing how he would like to be able to sing. So for him, being able to come up with these ideas and then have a piece of technology like autotune that can get get his vocals so that he can actually sing,
Wow.
it is brilliant. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then the other thing as well, I mean, I'm always saying to people in here, the pitch correction conversation is always the one you've got to be careful of, because when you've got somebody in that's like, should we talk about pitch correction? Some people will take that
Definitely.
as, are you saying I can't sing? It's like, no, I'm not saying you can't sing. I'm just saying, like, if you've got a 99% great take, why not use pitch correction to just get that extra 1% in, and now we've got a perfect take, if that's what you want to go for. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it, if it helps. I think, but also what's happened is we've moved to a point where we're pushing auto tune more in terms of, like, I like Melodyne because Melodyne is subtle, and I can use it in a way that you barely even know that it's on there.
Wow.
If you want to, you can crank it up and you can do your R&B T-Pain style or I Believe by Cher is
Yeah.
there. But so yeah, no, I have no objection to it. If it's a tool and it's going to help you, then go for it.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. That's actually amazing. That's fantastic, sincerely, And that's why we are the Legion here. I'm so happy for this episode, and I'm happy you actually dive in everything. I think a lot of upcoming producers, mixing engineers have actually learned a lot from this particular aspect of this talk shop. And I can see some few questions in the comment section. You can keep dropping them. But there are some few questions I just got, and I will just let us take just two of them or three if the time permits. We
Let's
have
have a
about
look.
two
What
to
we
three
got?
minutes left. So yeah, the first one is, how do you see AI tools shaping the future of music production and songwriting? Hmm.
What was that? Sorry.
How do you see AI tools shaping the future of music production and songwriting? AI.
It's AI, isn't it? I mean, the thing is with AI, rather than talk about music, let's just talk about video for a minute. AI video. I'm seeing
Wow.
a lot of AI video nowadays where if I didn't know what I was looking at, I would believe that there's a 200-foot monster walking across the earth. Like, it's getting very, very good. AI can be used for loads of things. I was having a chat with somebody recently about Chat GPT and how that can really be used to help creators, not in terms of like copying and having something else do the work, but certainly aiding you and helping you. Again, I see no objection if it's helping you.
Yeah.
Then I think where you have to be careful is there is having something help you,
Hmm.
and then there is having something which is doing everything for you. Because then, I mean, if we go back years ago, I don't know how many people remember Milli Vanilli, but like two guys who got caught out for miming, so it's like, at what point are we just going to go back to that with AI where somebody's had absolutely nothing to do with something because AI has done it, but they're claiming that it's their own?
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't have many thoughts about AI really, but I do think that we need to embrace it because it's there, it's going to help. So, and like anything, if something helps, why not use it?
Wow. 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 That's fantastic and amazing. Oh my God. I think I'll just allow just one question again. And that will be end for today. Um, Yeah, and the question is actually about the business aspect of music, and I think is actually really necessary for music producers, sound engineers, and all of us in the music space. And that is, how do you know how do you handle the business side of music from contracts to royalties? Like,
How do I
how does
handle
that work?
the business side of,
Yeah.
of
How do
contracts?
you handle the business side of music from contracts to reality? I'm not actually directing it to producers alone. I mean writers, producers, sound engineers, mixing engineers and all of that, How does it really work? There are a lot of questions around that right now. A lot of people are confused about the whole thing.
I, I I think, I mean, I would say, I mean, I don't really get involved with that too much, but
Mm,
what what I would say as somebody who does record and write original music is that if I'm completely honest, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know
wow.
how to promote it. Like it's so difficult. I mean, I've been uh my God, I was 17 when I first went to a recording studio. That was
Wow.
back in 1997. There you go. I'll let everybody do the maths as to how old I am.
Wow.
So back in
Wow.
1997, if you wanted to record music, first of all, you had to go to a recording studio. You couldn't open up your laptop with a copy of Logic or whatever. You had to go to a studio. If you wanted to promote your music, you had to go and gig,
Mm,
you know, and you would probably start to build up a little bit of a network and a fan base in your local area.
mm.
And then what would happen is you would gradually start to sort of branch out. Now, what you've got nowadays, which is a great thing, is that you've got the whole world at in the palm of your hand with a mobile phone, with every social media out there where you can promote it. the issue that you've got is so is everybody else.
Mm.
So how do you stand out? That's a big thing. You know, you've got to somehow stand out, and but you've also at the same time you've also got to focus on you. That's a big thing I always say.
Wow.
You have to focus on you and not worry too much about what other people are doing, and just focus on your journey and what it is that you're trying to do. But I do think that the music industry right now is a horrible mess.
Wow.
Only yesterday, a good friend of mine showed me that he has managed to hit over 3.2 million streams on his music.
Wow.
And then when he showed me what that generated from an income point of view, he'd probably go and have a nice meal somewhere. Like
Jeez.
that was it. You know, and I'll be completely honest, you know, it literally made me look at it and go, why am I bothering to write music? Which is a horrible thing to say, you know, and I think I think that this is then, you know, and again, I mean, we carried on our conversation and I said that I think that you have to go back. It's like if we take my social media and my Instagram, a big thing for me this year is to focus on my content, focus on my video quality, focus on who I'm working with, and focus less on how many views I'm getting, focus less on what followers I'm getting and things like that. And I think that if you take that into music, if you focus on creating good music, and you know, it's almost like you have to try not to worry about the other stuff, because as soon as you change the goal and you start going, right, my goal is to get more followers, my goal is to earn more money and sell music and everything like that, as much as it sucks to say it, I think you're going to be disappointed. And
Definitely.
and if you're disappointed, you're going to get burnt out and you're going to get disheartened. So I think that
Okay.
you have to kind of change
The
the goal. And
purpose.
let me tell you one. I've said about this before, right? There is a very famous saying which I absolutely love, which is I have to remember it. It's luck is when preparation and opportunity collide, or luck
Hmm.
is when preparation and opportunity meet. And what it basically says is, if you're putting in the work, you know, if you're putting in the work,
Consistency.
at some point something is going to happen. That's a big thing that I'm a believer in. Is if you put the work in, then whatever it is that you want will happen. But
Wow.
but it will happen at some point, and it will take some people longer than others. And I think you need to focus more on that than trying to hit a goal. You know, I mean, ultimately everyone's goal is to have music listened to and make money, and but the make money part will hopefully come later if the work
Yeah.
side of things. I don't even know if that makes any sense, but
Of course, this is actually amazing.
yeah.
And I think I learned something from you. A lot of people, a lot of upcoming artists are coming into the industry to make the money, to secure
Yeah,
the bag. But I
yeah,
think it shouldn't be like that. Of course, you are creative. You love it. It was a hobby. You heard it was, it makes me people millionaires and billionaires, like they say. Then why do you switch from being
yeah.
that person that loves music
It's
to
it's
being
really
that
easy
person that wants to make money with it?
if you think of it like a footballer aspect. You know, the greatest footballers in the world, what did they focus on? Did they focus on going and playing for the best teams, or did they focus on becoming the best footballer? You know, and so
You know,
there
they
you
are
go.
there.
There's
Of course,
there's
of
the
course. Oh wow.
there's the moral of the story.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Mic
That,
drop.
that's just I mean that's just that's just it's good. If you understand that aspect, then you're good to go. Focus
Yeah,
on creating content, developing yourself, artist development, develop your craft to be a mixing engineer, try to be the best in what you're doing. And as time goes on with consistency, like you said, you're gonna get there because you are
yeah,
earning not even from the craft, but because of your name and sometimes the figure. I
yeah,
think that works sometimes too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Agree.
this the hierarchy, there's hierarchy in the music industry. Oh my god, that is excellent. I love this.
Good.
I love this talk show. Oh my god, this is one of my best episodes, and for real, this is our first episode in 2025, and I'm happy and super excited. You are the first person I'm hosting in 2025. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, that's actually good. That's actually amazing. This is the best episode so far. And if you love this Creative Mavens Talk Shop, you can just follow me on my Instagram as Leumasmyth, on TikTok, on Facebook, and if you missed this, probably you're just joining. You can check the full video on YouTube and probably on my Instagram too. And I'm going to drop some short videos too as time goes on. So, and let's go back to introduction once more before we round it up for the day. Once more, I am Leumasmyth. I'm a music producer, a songwriter, an artist. I play a lot of instruments, guitar, keyboard, and a lot of that. I just love music, and that's who I am. So
Awesome.
let's go back to you, sir.
Me, yeah. So I'm Justin Brand. My Instagram is Justin Brand NR6. That's NRSIX.
Yeah.
And yeah, just come and follow me. Say hello, basically, and hopefully I can help in some way.
Wow. Obviously. So you can see the legend. He has given us a lot of tips and a lot of things about the music industry. Even if you're not a music producer, I think you've learned something from this talk shop because we talk generally, not only on music alone. So I think that is one of the best things in this episode, and I'm glad. And I hope we'll see you some other time.
Brilliant stuff. All right, buddy.
Oh my
Nice
God.
one.
Thank you, and thanks for joining us live, everyone. Bye.
Cheers.
Yeah. So what's up, everybody? Yeah. So if you missed this episode, like I said earlier, I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel. You can check the full video. You can check my other talk shop with the Grammy Award-winning producers, Bob On, Charity Lotu, and a lot of top producers in the world. So, and if you know you're a music producer or a music artist, you can reach out to me in the DM, or probably you click on the mail in my bio, somewhere around my Instagram, or probably on my YouTube. Thank you, and thanks for joining this episode. Thank you.